Hello, everybody, and welcome to Streets of Rage 4.
Oh, did they meet the Robinsons?
No, Tim. Later.
Hey, Pedro, you just let everyone now knows your email address. Good job.
Well, actually, Deji, I don't use that email address for any of my stuff. That email address is used purely for Xbox purposes. So, sorry.
Better because who the hell still uses Hotmail?
Enlarge your account.
So yeah, .mu, one of the best studios nowadays for retro gamers. They're now recently also publishing the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat 'em up that's upcoming right now. They with a collaboration from Guard Crush Games and another studio that I forgot the name of.
Sega?
They
more like Sega gave their blessings to do things.
Basically. .mu was actually the one that primarily spearheaded the project.
Axel, you got a beard, and hello, Blaze. You got
Blaze.
everything checked.
Not just that, Teo. Guess who's back? Adam is back.
Holy shit!
Finally.
Wait, are the developers you're thinking of Lizard Cube?
Yeah, that's the one. Thanks, Edge. Look at that. See? Look at that beautiful hand-drawn artwork.
And trust me, it's not just Adam. We've got some brand new characters too. Like, believe it or not, Theo, one character can attack using the power of electric guitar.
Yep.
Who the hell would have thought that we'd get a new Streets of Rage game in this day and age?
Thanks, because .mu, Edge. These guys love retro games and they're happy to get them to us.
If I recall correctly, by the time we commented, at least on Streets of Rage 2, these games still hadn't been announced, I think. So yeah, at least for the first one for sure. I don't remember if it was...
No, I think by the time we started commenting on 2, 4 was already a thing too.
Probably, probably. But still, very interesting also for the approach. And we have come in general, not just more on a casual way, but more casually than anything.
Anyway,
come essentially to a sort of renaissance of beat 'em ups.
Aside from the usual basic techniques we all know from Streets of Rage, we also have specials using the Y or triangle bottom if you prefer. We have a defensive special, which does exactly what you think it does, an offensive special, and we have also a super special attack, basically. We also We can also hold X for a strong attack. So basically you have all these super duper moves that you can do on top of all the other stuff that you already know that from Streets of Rage games, basically. So the gameplay, as you can see, hasn't exactly been super duper modded, but that's okay because it doesn't need to. The Streets of Rage gameplay is tried and true, and that's exactly what fans like me want.
So it's still you and your brother?
Yes, and unfortunately, since we have to unlock Adam, I cannot play as Adam yet, but I'll just play as Blaze.
His daughter, Cherry.
Remember, Java, like I said, back when we were kids, me and my brother would play Streets of Rage 1 all the time, and I will always be Adam, and he will always be Axel. So, fortunately, you can switch characters in between levels, so as soon as Adam unlocks, I'll just... And look at that. This looks familiar. 10 years have passed since the fall of Mr. X and his syndicate. The city has been at peace. Until now, a new crime empire has arisen, corrupting everything good in the city. It is rumored to be led by Mr. X's own children, the Y twins. What kind of family is this? Former detectives Axel Stone and Blaze Fielding joined forces with their old friend's daughter, Cherry Hunter, along with Floyd Iriah and an apprentice of the brilliant Dr. Zan. Oh, nice touch. Together, these 4 vigilantes stand against the Y syndicate on the Streets of Rage.
That's the title of the game.
Oh, please tell me you're going to show off Cherry's gameplay, because Cherry's gameplay is...
We're gonna see all the characters, don't worry. Yes, Cherry Hunter is actually Adam Hunter's daughter. So
again, there's a sort of legacy thing going on without detaching too much of the original characters.
And they even paid homage to Dr. Zan because, Dr. Zan was pretty old, so it might make sense if we play as his apprentice.
So remind me again, composing-wise, did Yuzo Koshiro was like a guest that composed like one track?
This was a collaboration between 3 composers: Yuzo Koshiro, Yoko Shimomura, of all people.
Of course.
Well, remember, Java, she actually worked on Street Fighter 2 back in the day when she was like starting out, so she's familiar with fighting type games. So she wasn't always known for making RPGs and stuff. Nowadays she makes more RPG stuff because that's the ones, of course, that people love, her emotional tracks and everything. But back in her this is basically Shimura back to her roots.
So yeah, as early as the first stage, you immediately get hit with a wave of nostalgia with that opening track.
And of course, the first thing that you'll notice about Streets of Rage 4 is that it looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks exactly like how, in my opinion, a side-scrolling game in today's day and age should be made, with hand-drawn HD sprites, animated by hand, and it looks absolutely wonderful. Look at this.
You can tell a lot of work, sweat, and tears actually went into this.
Exactly.
Hey, Tio, I gotta say this to you. Looks like Project Cross Zone 2 took quite a toll on Axel. Look at the poor guy.
He grew a fucking beard.
Well, remember, this takes place 10 years after 3.
He still got his groundhopper, so there is that. But yeah, again, it's interesting. Remind me again, were these the same developers who did River City Girls, actually? Or was it Wave 4 who did it?
Yeah.
Forgot.
That was Wave 4, I think.
My bad.
Definitely
but again, in general, we've seen a kind of a sort of a resurgence of traditional 2D side-scrolling beat 'em up, which is pretty neat, actually. Between these, River City Girls, there was a new Double Dragon, if I recall correctly, too.
Yeah, by .mu as well. That's the thing. .mu is the primary responsible for this resurgence too. They love these kinds of games, and they've been, they're now giving us a new TMNT1 and everything. So. And
pretty much since this, I kind of sort of wanted Disney and Marvel to try to contract at least a company, or not necessarily these guys, but at least someone to actually do Heroes for Hire beat 'em up style like this, because seriously, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist at the very least fits perfectly this kind of scenario so well for a video game, and would bring a bit of variety to the modern Marvel games panorama. But that's besides the point.
Yeah, aside from they also helped out in collaboration with Access Games, also developed Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. There you go too. They also they did a port of Samurai Showdown 2 for modern for mobile platforms. They helped out with the development of Ys Origin with Neon Falcon. They made Pang Adventures, which was a resurgence of an old arcade series called Pang.
I actually don't remember that.
They also made Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap, if you don't know, aka the Wonder Boy series,
which was meant to be a fan game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the funny thing.
Yeah, and Wonder Boy, just like this game, also uses hand-drawn sprites and everything. So, yeah, they also work on. Oh, yeah, so it's on East Chronicles too. I wasn't aware of that.
And .emi also helped do the Final Fantasy VIII remaster.
Yeah, I already said that.
Mentioned. Okay, I'm checking the credits because I heard, I hear the voice acting, but the only person who is credited is Joe Bianco as Axel Stone. Interesting, considering Blaze at least has a voice role, at least for the grunts. Let me see what his career is. He has started voice acting only recently, because this was done he started doing minor things short in 2015. But then he started voicing video game characters since 2020, and he's getting, roles still to this day. So the career is relatively early.
Yeah, something is another piece of activity. They're the ones responsible for the Steam ports of Final Fantasy III and Final Fantasy IV. So.
Those actually work, and they even been updated recently to, accommodate modern standards. So that's pretty neat, actually.
They also helped out with Final Fantasy.
Anyway,
IV,
I found the
years,
behind the voice actors page on the game.
Go ahead.
Blaze is voiced by Hitomi Farrell, their only credited role so far on the page.
So basically, this is the entire voice by newbies, basically.
Cherry is voiced by Quinn LaFontaine. Again, you're only the one. Bruce Sheffield voices Floyd, and before this, he was in. He was in Detroit Become Human.
Well, I gotta start a career somewhere.
For him.
He played a guy named Adam Chapman, but he's also been in Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure and Black Sad Under the Skin.
Okay, tell me who he voiced in Rhythm Thief, because I might remember the role.
Phantom R.
The protagonist. Yeah, I guess I get the voice then.
Shiva is voiced by Oliver Reynolds. Let me see what else he did. Again, just Streets of Rage 4, but he also voices Axel. apparently, even though it was Joe Bianco.
Joe Bianco.
And Estelle is voiced by Barbara Ann Weber-Scaff, who was also in Detroit Become Human. She was Chloe.
Snake Paradise.
But she's also been in she's been in a lot of games, more so than the other cast members.
Alright, hold on.
There you go. Dynamic entrance.
She was in Funky Cops.
Alright, so here's Diva.
Diva. First boss.
Yes.
Wait, that 4-Kids show, Funky Cops?
Well, there was also another version as well.
She has a snake with her, and
electricity.
And she also has electric powers, because why the fuck not?
What has these please become?
Okay, so I thought those were eagles instead of snakes.
They might actually be, considering the electricity and everything. I don't know.
Oh, and she was in the recent 2016 Peanuts show.
Okay.
Try not to be
Charlie
worried.
Brown and Peppermint Patty.
I can see that.
And
Alright.
she was in Valerian. And she was in Valerian in a city of 1,000 box office bombs.
Well, Terry wouldn't be a Streets of Terry wouldn't be a Terry wouldn't be a Streets of Rage game if there wasn't a way to stun lock the enemies.
Also, so what you're saying, Dwibs, is that she essentially lusts after herself in that movie.
I love how those mooks literally come at me with their hands in their pockets. They can't even be bothered to take their hands off their pockets.
It's funny, but I'll mention these after because I think we're transitioning from stage to stage.
Valerian's.
Alright, cutscene now.
Yep.
Yes, that's right. There are cutscenes.
Free was one that introduced that. To be fair,
but okay, there weren't as present. Remember in the Western version, like at least this one is consistent all across the board, and its plot is relatively, consistent too.
No. We're way beyond the days of Sega censoring Free too. We're fine. And even 2 to a lesser extent.
Why didn't the third one get it?
Here we go.
Well, hold on, I'll explain to you in a moment. Now, Diva, tell us what's going on within this city. This new organization. Go ahead. Sorry.
This new organization. They control everything and everyone. There's one man who could help you, the Grandmaster of Chinatown. He used to be a friend of theirs. Looks like it's too late, though. They already found you.
Axel!
Oh shit, it's the SWAT team.
So there you go. Now we've been arrested, so we have to escape from the police precinct.
So now you're in prison.
There you go. Anyway,
it's a prison break.
Here's what happened, Deji. Streets of Rage 1 fortunately got off scot-free in the West. However, Streets of Rage 2 did have some changes made to the West. Like, some names were changed to be less controversial. Some skimpy outfits were altered. And some aspects of the backgrounds were also changed to make sure it would be more kid-friendly, all that shit. Fortunately, thanks to ROM hacks, we can, play the game as intended. Streets of Rage 3, on the other hand, was the one that suffered the much. Compared to Bare Knuckle 3, that's the Japanese name of the series, Streets of Rage 3 cut off, like, about half of the plot, as well as the usual Streets of Rage 2 style of censorships, because there's a lot of very grim, bad endings of everybody dying in Streets of Rage 3, and Sega didn't want to scare the kids, so...
Also, get this, for some reason, they decided to change Axel and Blaze's attire to resemble those of the American cover of the first game, for some reason, mind you.
Yeah.
There was literally no reason to do that, and yet we did it for the Western release of Streets of Rage 3. It's baffling.
Fortunately, there's a ROM hack out there.
There's a certain sense of irony here, because, Sega is meant to be the cool ones that aren't afraid of censorship and all that, and it's like, what?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they wanted to try to give that an image back in the 90s. However, they realized that they couldn't stretch the rope way too much, otherwise they would...
an arcade.
Yes, unfortunately we cannot play it too. Sorry.
It's sad because if you remember from his bio, Axel is really fond of arcade games.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I thought you get teleported.
And according to Project Cross Zone 2, he's really fond also of dating sims.
Yeah.
It's sort of an in-joke prank because he's a Japanese voice actor. I forgot the name. He's very fond of doing live streams where he plays dating sims, so we inserted that.
No.
In the meantime, here's the most iconic weapon in Streets of Rage, the tube back in its full glory.
I actually do wonder if if Taro took inspiration potentially from these old classic beat 'em ups for the tube from the first Nier, considering it's kind of treated as a joke weapon in its first appearance, and then you can get it near the end of the game, but it serves no real purpose aside from unlocking everything.
Yes, that's right, Blaze. Go up against the man with an energy shield with not but a lead pipe.
I also kind of find the hilarity that one of the cop mook is called Dick. Ha.
But Tio, I actually do wonder.
Nothing to see here. Moving on.
Yeah, nothing to see there at all.
Timing, no worry, I can understand. Go on, Java.
Actually, that may have been social commentary, but I wonder if, per se, by some miracle, we do get Project Cross Zone free. Do you think that the devs might actually acknowledge Streets of Rage 4?
Why not? Again, it's not the first time that they acknowledge, a Western sequel. Not a necessarily Western sequel, but something that happens for sequels or games done technically recently compared to the first time we did. So I wouldn't be too surprised on that front. And you have to remember that the two Project Cross Zone games, unlike Namco Cross Capcom, were also done with a more Western mindset in mind, in a sense of getting characters that also the West was more accustomed to, in order to have less licensing problems. It also helped that Kazuya Hara pestered the higher-ups at Banco to making sure the game actually got to Western releases. But that process was still that, It also had helped that since the days of Namco Cross Capcom, the IPs that had, grown in all three companies had also, expanded the range that we used. Banco had stuff like Dot Hack or the Tekken games that evolved, Capcom had Devil May Cry, Dead Rising, and so forth. Sega had constructed Akira Chronicles or Yakuza. So there was something more to do, while instead Namco Cross Capcom was relying more on the arcade stuff, which most of it was not exactly well known to the West, because a lot of games were not localized, like the Genji and Aiki clans. Seriously, unless you played the Namco Arcade Museum on the PS1, you will know jack shit about that.
It's also...
Pedro,
yes?
who's your favorite to play as in Streets of Rage 4? Like, okay,
Adam.
Ignoring the whole... Oh, okay. So is this just because, you like Adam, or because you do like his playstyle the best in this as well?
Well, Adam has always been... Well, here's the thing, Joe. Back when I first played 1, remember, there was no story outside of that intro text thing, so it was only until 3 that we got more proper dialogue and shit. But it was just one of those cases where I just thought Adam looked... As a kid, I just thought Adam looked cool, so I just picked him, and it just stuck, basically. It's as simple as that. And my brother is a big Axel fan in particular, so he always sticks with Axel. So,
what do you think of the new playable characters in this game?
Oh yeah, they're pretty good. Again, I never really had a problem. Like a lot of people, some people don't like the new characters in free. Again, I actually like the characters in free. Like I never really, I don't think this series has a single really bad character. At least to me, it doesn't. Like it's fine. All right, police chief.
Hello, chief.
All right, so now we have to fight. So now we have to fight Commissioner Gordon. Maybe. Well, Theo, this is probably the Jim Lee. The Jim Gordon
Robin version of Jim Gordon.
Okay. Jim, I get you're pissed at not being able to catch Batman, but why are you taking it out on 2 random civilians?
Well, actually, Jim collaborates with Batman. Remember, that's kind of his thing. So no.
Well, maybe this is a universe where Jim hates Batman.
Maybe this is the Catwoman.
Well, actually, to once again, and for what Theo said, yes, in the All-Star Batman and Robin, he kinda does. So yeah.
And remember, All-Star Batman and Robin is somehow supposed to lead into Dark Knight Returns.
Even though that doesn't make a sense, but whatever.
No, not at all. But to go for what I was saying before, Pedro, I don't know if it works for other countries in the world, but in mine, there's a sort of a bad stereotype associated to, basically a thing that your parents will say, like, don't put your hands in your pockets because it's a bad gesture. Mostly because for adults, like a person, mostly male, who puts their hands in the pocket, you get like it gives a bad impression, like they're touching their own dick or something. I don't know, believe me. So basically, it's considered bad education. So if you have a jacket, put your hands in the red pocket.
You know, one has to wonder why crime is running rampant if the commissioner is this jacked and can pretty much do all these super moves himself. Like, come on.
As you see, Jova, it's hard because when people that have good powers, grow up in powers, so they will create all the villains and some bullshit like that.
Very much. All right, we defeated the commissioner.
Okay. So who trained these guys? Mike Hager or something?
Probably.
Probably.
I guess we went to Metro City for some extra training.
Not gonna lie, I could totally see Mike Hager putting together a city program where everyone has to get jacked so that they can self-defend themselves.
Well.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, pretty boy.
There you go.
Finally, I get to meet the city's finest hero.
Who the hell are you?
A rejected Yu-Gi-Oh character?
Call me Mr. Y. My dear sister and I are the new owners, while you've been making quite a mess, to be honest.
No thanks.
So we're ready to make a very generous offer to stop.
Oh, sure, that will work.
Bribery.
Yeah.
Please don't be rash. Consider it carefully.
Yeah,
I said
fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Well, in that case...
Oh shit.
Run.
It's a good thing we operate on Stormtrooper aim logic.
And
the
there's that game
was
over.
near
Sorry.
the river. Okay.
Thank goodness.
Gotta say, Pedro, this was a wonderful Streets of Rage commentary, and I'm glad that you joined me. Oh, what? The game's still going.
all right, so we escaped, and now we're managed to find ourselves on a cargo ship.
Of course, like in the first game.
Yes.
But yeah, one thing you'll find that's interesting is like, well, this game draws from pretty much every single Streets of Rage game.
Yeah.
In quite an intuitive way. That said, though, it has the amazing ability of doing it without committing continuity lockout. What is continuity lockout? Well, it's thankfully something where stuff is explained well enough where even if you haven't played the previous games, you can actually get the references, ironically enough, and get the significance of, say, this character or whatnot here and there. Even regarding Dr. Zan in this game. Yeah, he's technically not in the main story.
Well, the Jax-like guy with the metal arms, he's Dr. Zan's apprentice. Dr. Zan himself never actually shows up, but that's really they just give that basic connection just to give fans of all three games their bone, you know?
And it's an easy one to get. Like, the guy was old, so it makes sense if he retired from, fighting on the streets.
Well, yeah. The ending of the third game pretty much kind of implies that anyway. So.
I love how Axel committed. Oh, it's him. I forgot the name.
Yes, they're back.
The big whatever. We'll see when he shows up.
No, this game is like Jova said. No, this game is basically a big love letter to the Streets of Rage franchise. But literally everything that is awesome about Streets of Rage is in this game, and it refines the formula to pretty much perfection.
Bang, that's what it's called. Go on.
But here's the basic gist of it, Deji. Here's the best way to play Streets of Rage free, not officially. Instead, get a ROM hack called Bare Knuckle Free Director's Cut. Because not only did they restore everything back to how it was in the Japanese version, they even went to the trouble of re-implementing a deleted level into the game that showed up in promotional material but never made it itself into the actual final game. But the community was kind enough to actually finish it, and so there you go. That's the best way to play Bare Knuckle Free.
So it's like Sonic Free Air?
Well, wait, the Sonic Free Air restore deleted levels? I don't think it does.
Well, I mean, a fan hack, that's pretty much the definitive way.
Oh, sure, if you want to put it that way. Like, I think Christian Whitehead's Sonic 2 is better, because it actually re-implements... That's a better comparison, because Christian re-implemented Hidden Palace, so...
For a second,
He was originally going to have the stage in Sonic CD, but it got revamped at Mirage Saloon.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry, for a second there, I thought thought you meant it was something like Sonic 2: The Lost Worlds that tried to recreate old scratch levels and didn't do them very well.
Also, Garcia is back, so
Yay.
That's nice.
again, I just love how those dudes just constantly keep it's such a small detail, but it adds personality to this particular mook. Like they never take their hands from their pockets, even when they're kicking.
Pedro, hands are very hard to animate. The poor animators need the brain.
That's just that. I take it as I'm too cool to use my hands on you. Like,
Not just
Pretty
that,
much,
they practice. Okay, I think it's Taekwondo, where it mostly uses their legs to do that.
Look who's back, and she even whips.
Nora.
to incentivize them. Hey, I don't complain.
I love their names. Garcia.
We know what Tio's kink is.
Shut up, Deji. You know you enjoyed it too. Don't lie.
No, I don't.
So yeah, I love.
Nice.
Also, knock her to the wall because there's spikes that you'll knock her out faster.
I love how the Garcias that are whipped by her have a lot of A's in the end of their name for some reason.
But
There we
yeah,
go.
okay. Story-wise, you gotta love how Mr. Y has the audacity to offer money to these people, even though he literally kidnapped one of them's father.
Not just
Like,
that, Jova. It's hilarious because the money that they offer, the single, the single piece that they offer in terms of money looks tiny compared to the ones that you find normally in the level. So even so, it's like small pocket money.
And Axel immediately burns it with his grasshopper move.
Wait. You have to realize the Y twins were upset that Mr. X was in prison and probably died, but they were willing to bury the hatchet.
Yeah, they were willing to bury the hatchet at the expense of them controlling the city.
All right, Dwebs. You'll be Miss. All right, Dwebs. You'll be Mr. Y, and I'll be Miss Y, aka his twin sister.
Well,
Alright.
if it comes up.
No, don't worry, she will. Don't worry, she will. Remember, Dwebs, it's the villains are both of them, the Y twins. All right. Oh my! Now that hurts. But it would hurt even more if we were to crash.
You mad woman!
Ah!
The absolute.
Well, that was Streets of Rage 4.
And that was it. We crashed and killed everybody, and that was Streets of Rage 4.
Final thoughts, guys?
That was a short game.
Yes, kind of a dark ending, but
we waited 20 years for this less than 30-minute game. Whatever.
Way to go.
Mr. The Y Twins won. No, actually they didn't. Tune in for part 2, everybody.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.